Okay, let's unpack this. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the very end of everything, not just, a quiet fade, but this explosive, cataclysmic crescendo of fire and brimstone. Angels, right? Radiant but brutal, clashing with these grotesque ancient demons, just tearing the world apart in this ballet of cosmic violence. Now, imagine you are War, one of the legendary four horsemen of the apocalypse, summoned to this exact terrifying chaos. But here's the twist, right? You arrive, only to find yourself like a century too late, unjustly accused of triggering the very cataclysm you were meant to just, well, oversee. And as you try to piece together what happened, you discover you're basically just a pawn. A pawn in a conspiracy far grander, far more insidious, and utterly soul shattering than the war itself. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into the world of Darksiders. It's that hack and slash action adventure game from Vigil Games first burst onto the scene back in 2010. It boldly takes the iconic, often terrifying imagery of the four horsemen of the apocalypse and kind of reimagines it through this lens of profound betrayal, cosmic intrigue, and one lone warrior's relentless quest for truth amidst, well, unparalleled chaos. You've brought us some truly fascinating material here, and what immediately grabs you isn't just the sheer epic scale of the conflict, but the masterful way the narrative layers just twist upon themselves. It's constantly building curiosity and tension, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're always wondering, what hidden truth lies beneath the surface. It challenges your assumptions about good, evil, and the very nature of divine authority. What's truly fascinating here is how Darksiders manages to build that incredible curiosity and palpable tension right from its opening moments. It sets the stakes astronomically high for our protagonist, War. From the very first scene, you're not just smashing things, you're questioning everything you thought you knew about the Endwar. We're going to explore how this game takes a familiar biblical concept and just courageously reinterprets it through a lens of, well, unsettling moral ambiguity. It forces these unexpected alliances, unveils this truly shocking conspiracy that fundamentally questions the nature of cosmic balance itself. Our mission today is to meticulously trace War's really arduous journey, from an unjustly accused harbinger of destruction to an unwitting liberator.
And we're going to meticulously peel back the layers of deceit woven into this end war, a conflict that turns out to be far more complex and far more corrupt than just a simple battle between good and evil. This isn't just a story. It's a profound exploration of authority, justice, and the cost of truth.
Okay, so let's anchor ourselves right at the very beginning. With the foundational lore that Darksiders so creatively draws from, we're all familiar, I think, with the four horsemen of the apocalypse: conquest, war, famine, and death. These figures of immense power, often seen as, harbingers of the final judgment. But this game takes that iconic imagery and infuses it with a truly compelling twist. It's not just focusing on destruction, but on a cosmic order meticulously designed and then, well, catastrophically disrupted.
Precisely. The game establishes this primordial conflict, one that has raged since, well, forever. Heaven and hell locked in an eternal, brutal, and utterly devastating war. Now, to prevent this endless conflict from just consuming all of creation, a formidable, impartial mediating force known as the Charred Council emerged. Their sole sacred purpose was to preserve the delicate balance between these two immense powers. To enforce their will, they famously recruited the four horsemen of the apocalypse, these beings of immense power, bound by strict laws and a code of absolute neutrality. But here's where Darksiders introduces its kind of genius stroke of original lore. The Council also recognized humanity as a newly declared Third Kingdom, a fledgling race destined for future significance, possessing this unique potential for both good and evil. They placed humanity under their explicit protection, with the profound understanding that when mankind was truly ready, and only then would they join the Endwar as a crucial deciding factor. This isn't just backstory, it sets the entire stage for the monumental betrayal that follows.
And the linchpin, the absolute core of this meticulously crafted arrangement, this fragile truce between heaven and hell, was something called the Seven Seals. It sounds almost biblical, sure, but what was their practical purpose in this cosmic ecosystem?
Right, imagine the Seven Seals not merely as a contract, but as a kind of cosmic circuit breaker. A binding oath etched into the very fabric of existence, designed to prevent the universe from short-circuiting into total war until humanity was truly ready. They were a tangible representation of the truce, a powerful, magical construct. These seals were only to be broken one by one when humanity was deemed sufficiently developed and capable of participating in the Endwar. Only then would the breaking of the final seal officially summon the four horsemen to Earth, commencing the apocalypse in a synchronized, orderly manner. This created an expectation of a grand, prophesied event where all cosmic forces would be aligned and the horsemen would ride together in righteous judgment. The incredible curiosity and tension here, of course, comes from that immediate chilling question. What happens if that meticulously planned, prophesied event is anything but? What if it all goes catastrophically wrong and this sacred order is violated? The very premise sets you up to expect a betrayal, a disruption of this cosmic plan, raising the stakes from a mere skirmish to an existential catastrophe.
And a monumental disruption is exactly what we get. Our journey and the player's experience truly begins when we take control of War, one of these legendary, formidable four horsemen. He arrives on present-day Earth quite unexpectedly amidst the premature outbreak of the End War, and the scene is just pure pandemonium. It's a breathtaking, terrifying spectacle, a real maelstrom of destruction.
It is absolute, unbridled chaos, a visual and auditory assault. The skies are ripped open by these gargantuan airships clashing, while on the ruined streets below, angels, right? Once symbols of divine grace, now fight with desperate, savage fury against grotesque, myriad demons, their bodies just tearing apart the urban landscape. Humanity, caught squarely in this infernal crossfire, is being utterly decimated, their screams lost amidst the din of battle. You're immediately thrown into the thick of it, feeling the immense, crushing scale of this cosmic war, but with a profound sense of disorientation. And then the critical anomaly presents itself, shattering War's sense of purpose. He confronts the Archangel Abaddon, a powerful angelic leader desperately trying to rally his forces. It's in this confrontation that War makes a shocking discovery. The seventh seal, the final crucial seal meant to trigger his arrival and that of his brethren, is inexplicably intact.
Intact, so it wasn't broken.
Exactly. It's not just a minor detail. It's the first major red flag. It immediately creates immense tension and an urgent sense of curiosity. Why is War alone? Why haven't the other horsemen been summoned? The prophecy clearly states he shouldn't be here yet, and he certainly shouldn't be alone. This is not the End War as it was foretold.
So War, already deeply confused and without his fellow horsemen, finds himself thrust into this brutal battle where, right before his eyes, Abaddon is tragically slain by the colossal demon Straga. War, despite his disorientation, almost defeats Straga himself, but then mysteriously his immense strength it abandons him. It's a sudden, inexplicable draining of power. He falls, weakened and vulnerable, and is subsequently apprehended and brought before the Charred Council, the very cosmic entity he is sworn to serve. This is where the stakes truly begin to escalate, not just for the world, but for War's very existence and identity.
That mysterious and debilitating loss of strength is a truly pivotal moment, because it's the direct catalyst for War's downfall and the immediate beginning of his unjust accusation. He's supposed to be this unstoppable force, yet suddenly he's vulnerable, seemingly a traitor to his own nature. The Council, rather than offering answers or understanding, immediately condemns him with cold, unwavering fury, accusing him of prematurely triggering the apocalypse. Just think about the sheer audacity of that for a moment.
Yeah, I mean,
War, a being of absolute honor, bound by an unbreakable code to uphold balance, is now being blamed for the very event he believes he was rightfully summoned to. An event which, by his own experience in the Unbroken Seal, is clearly out of sync with all prophecy. It's a massive, almost unfathomable injustice, both for him personally and for the universal order he represents. This ignites an immediate drive for justice within the player, a desperate need to uncover the truth.
And the consequences of this accusation aren't just theoretical. They are severe, immediate, and utterly devastating. War is stripped of his immense powers, leaving him severely weakened, his once boundless strength now just a shadow. He's then bound to this chilling, sardonic figure known only as the Watcher. This Watcher isn't just a guide or a companion, is he?
Not at all. He's a council servant empowered to execute War instantly, should he disobey, should he falter in his mandated quest for answers. This creates immediate, palpable tension for the player. War's very life and freedom are constantly at risk, held by this spiritual leash controlled by an entity he doesn't trust but cannot defy, and the layers of cruelty don't stop there. When War is finally sent back to Earth to find the true conspirators, he discovers that a full century has inexplicably passed since his initial chaotic arrival.
100 years. Wow.
Yeah. Humanity, the very third kingdom the Council swore to protect, has been utterly annihilated, wiped out by an entity now known only as the Destroyer. The angelic army's remnants now form a desperate, beleaguered resistance force called the Hell Guard, led by the grief-stricken Uriel, who holds War personally responsible for Abaddon's death. This sets an incredibly bleak, desolate tone, painting a stark picture of the devastating scale of this false start to the End War. It's not just a personal injustice for War, it's a cosmic catastrophe, a ruined world that fuels his resolve even further.
It truly is a bleak, almost hopeless picture, and this is where we can connect to you, the listener, on a really visceral level. Imagine being branded as the architect of the end of the world, knowing deep down that you are fundamentally innocent, only to then be forced to witness the very ruin you're accused of causing. How would you even begin to clear your name? How would you regain your power when your most powerful allies, the very beings you're supposed to serve, are now your jailers and hold your very life in their hands? That sense of overwhelming injustice, the monumental task ahead of war, and the constant threat of the Watcher create an incredible amount of immediate tension and a budding curiosity for the player right from the outset, who is truly responsible for this. And how can one lone horseman possibly fight against a universal conspiracy?
With War stripped of his powers, bound to the Watcher, and trapped in this ruined world haunted by the ghosts of humanity, he's in a profoundly vulnerable state. Every faction views him with suspicion or, outright hostility. This desperate need for survival, combined with his unyielding drive for vindication, forces him to forge some incredibly unlikely alliances. And it's through these morally ambiguous partnerships that the narrative truly begins to peel back the layers of deception. This is where the curiosity shifts from what happened to who orchestrated it all.
And his first real lead, or at least a path forward, comes from an incredibly untrustworthy source, the demon merchant Vulgrim. He's this shady, opportunistic character. War is directed by Vulgrim to seek counsel from the notoriously dangerous yet currently imprisoned demon lord Samael. It's clear from the get-go that War needs help, and he has to take it where he can find it, even from the very denizens of hell he was meant to fight.
Exactly. War's weakened state means he can't simply overpower every obstacle or intimidate every foe. He's forced to rely on these morally ambiguous figures to compromise his own traditional allegiances. Vulgrim, for instance, operates out of this squalid underworld marketplace, providing War with crucial gear, new combat abilities, and upgrades, but in exchange for blue souls, which serve as the game's currency. This isn't just a simple transaction, it's a tangible representation of War's moral quandary. To regain his strength and clear his name, he's literally forced to traffic in the lifeblood of demons, highlighting the compromises and dirty hands required to navigate a truly corrupt cosmic order. Samael, on the other hand, is a mighty and feared demon lord, but he's imprisoned within the scalding gallows, just as War is, albeit in a different kind of cage. Samael openly seeks vengeance against the Destroyer, creating this unexpected common ground, a shared enemy that transcends the usual black and white heaven versus hell divide. This is where the curiosity truly deepens. Can War trust these demons? Or is he simply walking deeper into another, more intricate trap? The stakes of these alliances are incredibly high, as War's fate rests on the word of beings known for treachery.
So Samael, this ancient, powerful demon, then reveals what War must accomplish to progress. He explains that to open the formidable, seemingly impenetrable Black Tower, a place of immense power and dark secrets, War needs to defeat 4 ancient, incredibly powerful monsters, known as the Chosen, and offer their still-beating hearts. It's a classic heroic quest setup, a test of strength, but again with a uniquely Darksiders twist that implies there's more beneath the surface.
And this is where the game masterfully manipulates curiosity and raises the stakes, adding that layer of unsettling doubt. War, ever the dutiful warrior, meticulously follows Samael's instructions. He battles his way through formidable opponents like Tiamat, the Bat Queen, and Gorgana, this monstrous Medusa-like figure, each requiring specific tactics and a growing mastery of War's limited abilities. He slays all the Chosen, fulfilling his end of the bargain. But then, in a gut-wrenching moment, he learns the shocking truth. These Chosen were not simply obstacles. They were actually meant to prevent Samael's return, to keep him permanently imprisoned.
Oh wow, so he was being used.
Totally. This revelation immediately makes War, and by extension the player, question everything about his actions and the reliability of his new allies. Was Samael truly helping, or just expertly using War as a blunt instrument for his own liberation? The reliability of his new devilish allies is thrown into serious doubt, ratcheting up the tension. Samael, with this knowing smirk, honors his word, restoring the path to the Black Tower. But he can't resist a sly, chilling hint that the Charred Council, the very authority War serves, has deliberately kept War weakened, subtly orchestrating his limitations. The seeds of a deeper, far-reaching conspiracy, potentially involving the very authorities meant to uphold cosmic balance, are now firmly planted. This creates immense tension, as War realizes he's been a pawn in a game he doesn't fully understand, and he can trust no one completely. Not even himself, maybe.
So after these profoundly unsettling revelations and battling through these ancient, formidable monsters, War finally makes his way into the ominous Black Tower, this place brimming with malevolent energy. And it's here that he frees Azrael, the Angel of Death, a figure of immense power and somber wisdom. It's Azrael's subsequent confession that is a pivotal moment, isn't it? A narrative bomb that fundamentally shifts the entire story, changing everything War thought he knew about the End War, and raising the stakes from a personal quest to a cosmic revelation.
Absolutely. Azrael's confession is a huge narrative bomb that detonates all of War's previous assumptions. He reveals that he and Abaddon, the very Archangel War, encountered at the premature outbreak of the End War. The one whose death War was blamed for had conspired together. Their plan was audacious and morally compromising, to prematurely break 6 of the 7 seals, deliberately orchestrating a false start to the apocalypse. Their goal was to lure powerful demon lords, the greatest threats to heaven, into a massive, decisive ambush. Then, in the aftermath, they intended to convince the ancient smith Ulthane, the Black Hammer, to reforge the seals, erasing all trace of their audacious plot.
Right, cover their tracks.
Exactly. This wasn't just a rogue act. It was a desperate, calculated attempt by heaven itself to decisively win the eternal war, to tip the cosmic scales permanently and unequivocally in their favor, disregarding the Council's sacred balance. This revelation profoundly deepens the mystery, but also completely shifts the stakes. It's no longer just a demon conspiracy, but one that involves the highest echelons of heaven, shattering the illusion of angelic righteousness.
But their elaborate Machiavellian plan didn't quite work out as intended, did it? Abaddon's unforeseen death at the hands of the demon Straga during that initial chaotic battle on Earth effectively ruined everything. It was the wrench in their perfect machine.
Precisely. Abaddon's unexpected demise during that initial chaotic battle not only ruined their carefully laid plans, but inadvertently triggered the full-scale End War, and tragically led to humanity's complete and utter destruction. Azrael's confession is the crucial piece of the puzzle that explains the premature apocalypse and War's entire predicament. The conflict is no longer a straightforward battle between heaven and hell, or even war against the destroyer. It's now revealed to be a complex, insidious, and devastating web of deceit involving all major factions, putting the entire cosmic balance and indeed all of creation at an unprecedented risk. This makes you question the very nature of what good and evil truly mean when the lines are so profoundly blurred.
This raises an incredibly important question for us to consider, because it truly delves into the profound moral implications of such a desperate plan. Was this a desperate act by heaven to end a seemingly endless, devastating war? A utilitarian calculus for the greater good, maybe? Or was it a grave betrayal of the very balance the Charred Council was established to uphold? What does it say about the lines between good and evil, between righteousness and expediency, when even angels, supposedly paragons of light and virtue, are willing to plot such Machiavellian schemes, sacrificing an entire kingdom humanity in the process? It really blurs the moral line as it makes you question the nature of authority and righteousness itself.
It forces us to confront that very ambiguity, that unsettling truth. Heaven's plan, while, ostensibly intended to end a perpetual soul-destroying war, involved a complete disregard for the established cosmic order, the deliberate sacrifice of humanity, a protected kingdom, and a profound act of deceit. It suggests that even those sworn to higher ideals, to light and purity, can succumb to the temptation of total victory, to the belief that the ends, an end to suffering, justify even the most heinous means. This kind of moral complexity creates significant gnawing tension within the narrative, as War, a being of honor and unwavering principle, grapples with the betrayal not just by his accusers, but by those he thought were unequivocally on the side of good. It sets the stage for even more profound and shocking revelations about who the true villains might be, and who is truly pulling the strings of this cosmic puppet show. It's not just a plot point, it's a commentary on power and morality.
So the deception, layer by layer, continues to unravel, leading War to another momentous confrontation. He battles and ultimately defeats the colossal demon Straga again, the very creature responsible for slaying Abaddon and initiating War's initial downfall. This rematch isn't just a rerun of a boss fight, it's deeply personal, a symbolic victory, a powerful step in War's journey towards redemption. And it has immediate, explosive consequences, causing the gargantuan Black Tower to collapse around them in this cascade of stone and metal.
That's absolutely right. The collapse of the Black Tower here isn't merely environmental destruction or a dramatic backdrop. It profoundly symbolizes the breaking down of the initial, complex layers of deception that War has been fighting through. It's a physical manifestation of the truth, starting to come into sharp, devastating focus. Immediately after, Azrael, recognizing the urgency and seeing an opportunity for deeper revelation, transports War to the Garden of Eden. This isn't just a shift in location. This journey to Eden, a place of ancient, profound knowledge and pristine significance, is another powerful symbol. It signifies a fundamental shift in War's quest. He's moving beyond merely battling immediate threats to actively seeking deeper, more fundamental, existential truths. The stakes are no longer just about his survival or clearing his name, but about understanding the very fabric of the cosmic order itself and the corrupted nature of those who govern it. The curiosity here is immense. What ancient secret, what damning truth awaits him in the cradle of creation?
And it's in this breathtakingly beautiful yet haunting Garden of Eden that War experiences perhaps the most pivotal, mind-bending moment of his entire journey. He visits the legendary Tree of Knowledge, this ancient entity imbued with the history of all creation, and receives a profound, devastating vision. This vision is a complete game changer, revealing truths that completely recontextualize everything he's experienced so far, just turning his world upside down.
Indeed, the Tree of Knowledge, in its terrifying benevolence, bestows upon War a series of truly profound and gut-wrenching revelations. First, War finally learns the true, shocking identity of the Destroyer, the monstrous antagonist who annihilated humanity and now rules over the desolate earth. The vision reveals that after his death, Abaddon, the very Archangel War had fought alongside at the beginning, the one whose death War was blamed for, did not ascend to heaven. Instead, he descended into hell, to the realm of eternal torment. There he was offered a chilling ultimate choice by some shadowy, manipulative entity: serve in heaven or rule in hell. Knowing with bitter certainty that he was doomed for punishment regardless of his past actions, Abaddon chose to embrace the immense corrupting power offered in hell. He transformed, becoming the Destroyer, the formidable antagonist War has been relentlessly pursuing. This is a powerful, tragic character arc of fallen grace, a former angelic leader twisted into the ultimate evil, now ironically guarding the unbroken seventh seal. This revelation is a huge payoff for the curiosity built around the Destroyer's identity, and it adds immense personal stakes to War's quest for vengeance and truth. It reveals the crushing weight of compromised ideals.
Wow. That's heavy. But the vision, as if ripping away more layers of cosmic deception, doesn't stop there, does it? It then delivers the most shocking, utterly devastating truth of all, a revelation that pulls the rug out from under the entire cosmic hierarchy and makes you question the very foundation of authority.
This is truly where the conspiracy reaches its chilling, manipulative zenith. The vision reveals that the Charred Council itself, the supposedly impartial mediators, the ultimate authority that stripped War of his powers, bound him to the Watcher, and condemned him for a crime he didn't commit, was fully aware of the conspiracy between Abaddon and Azrael. They didn't just know. They allowed the apocalypse to happen. Furthermore, with a cold, calculating precision that chills you to the bone, they deliberately summoned War themselves, knowing full well he would pursue the conspirators to clear his name. They orchestrated his entire arduous journey, manipulating him from the very beginning, turning him into their unwitting instrument of justice, a perfectly obedient, self-driven weapon. And what was the cost? The complete horrific sacrifice of humanity, all for their own twisted agenda to restore a balance they had allowed to be broken. This is the ultimate betrayal, turning the world on its head and raising the stakes to an unimaginable level, as War realizes his deepest enemy might just be his former masters, the supposed arbiters of justice. The tension here is immense, a crushing weight of realization, as War is now faced with the knowledge that he's been a puppet, albeit a powerful one all along. It makes you profoundly question where true authority should ever reside.
And just when you think the revelations can't possibly get any more intense, the vision includes a chilling, foreboding prophecy. War sees himself slain with a glowing sword. This instantly creates a new personal layer of tension and deepens the sense of foreboding. It's not just a generic vision, it's a specific, undeniable foreshadowing of his own death, adding a terrifying, high-stakes element to his already perilous and now thoroughly manipulated quest. The player feels that personal dread right alongside War.
It absolutely does. That vivid, haunting image of his own demise becomes a constant looming threat, a personal countdown. Azrael, ever the analytical mind, still reeling from his own role in the conspiracy, manages to deduce that this glowing sword must be the legendary Armageddon blade. A mythical weapon powerful enough to kill even the Destroyer, but one that has been broken into countless shards and scattered across the ruined earth. This deduction, this glimmer of understanding, provides War with a clear, immediate objective and a desperate sliver of hope amidst the overwhelming despair and profound betrayal. It gives him something tangible, something specific to focus on, a path to reclaiming his agency, even if it might lead to his prophetic demise. The curiosity now intensifies around this blade. How will he forge it, and can it truly defy fate?
So War embarks on this new, desperate quest to gather these scattered pieces of the Armageddon blade. He eventually takes them to Ulthane, the enigmatic Black Hammer, an ancient old one who, after initial hostility and a truly epic fistfight,
Yeah, that fight is something else.
becomes a grudging but incredibly powerful ally and eventually reforges the blade. This whole sequence isn't just about collecting items, it's about War actively finding the means to confront the ultimate truth, to defy the prophecy, and to face his destiny, even with the chilling vision of his own death hanging over him. It's about taking ultimate control of his fate, or at least forging the instrument to do so.
It absolutely signifies War's profound shift from being a manipulated pawn to becoming an active, determined agent in his own destiny. The Armageddon blade isn't just a weapon, it's the physical embodiment of his potential liberation, the key to unraveling the conspiracy, and perhaps even subverting the prophecy of his own demise. The arduous journey to collect its pieces, forcing him to brave dangerous new areas and encounter complex, challenging allies like Ulthane, a being of immense power and unpredictable temperament, reinforces this progression. Ulthane's initial hostility, a test of War's strength and resolve, highlights the respect War earns, forging an unlikely bond based on mutual, warrior-like honor. The reforging of the blade is a powerful symbolic moment, a promise of impending justice. The curiosity now shifts dramatically to how War will wield this legendary blade, and if he possesses the will, and perhaps the cunning, to subvert the grim prophecy of his own death. The stakes couldn't be higher for his final confrontation. The fate of existence and War's soul hang in the balance.
Okay, so with the legendary Armageddon blade finally reforged and pulsing with power, War is armed with the ultimate means to confront the destroyer. But before that climactic battle, there's another critical encounter, one that further twists the allegiances in this sprawling cosmic conflict and adds another layer of emotional complexity. Uriel, Abaddon's former loyal lieutenant and the current embittered leader of the Hellguard, confronts War. Still consumed by grief and this profound, misplaced conviction, she still believes him guilty of causing Abaddon's death and initiating the apocalypse. Driven by a vengeful sense of justice, she challenges him to the death oath, a sacred, ancient duel to the death where only one can walk away.
This is a moment of incredibly high emotional tension. Uriel is driven not by malice, but by a consuming grief and a profound sense of loyalty, still tragically unaware of the full scope of Abaddon's fall. She truly believes War is the ultimate betrayer, the monster who doomed them all. War, despite being unjustly accused and having suffered immense personal injustice, maintains his unyielding code of honor. He enters this duel not just to defend himself, but with the hope that by defeating her without killing her, he can finally pave the way for the devastating truth. He is victorious in the duel, demonstrating his superior skill and power. But in a pivotal, truly surprising move, he spares Uriel's life, showing mercy where none was shown to him. This act of mercy is absolutely crucial because it allows him to finally reveal the Destroyer's true, heartbreaking identity, the fallen Archangel Abaddon. This is a critical turning point in the narrative, a deeply emotional moment where War, through his honor and the sheer force of revelation, finally begins to turn former sworn adversaries into essential unified allies. The stakes shift from simply surviving to building a unified front against the real insidious enemy, creating a burgeoning hope amidst the despair.
Uriel, utterly enraged and heartbroken by this devastating truth, immediately leads the Hellguard, her battered angelic forces, into a desperate, furious battle against the Destroyer. But tragically, just as foreseen in War's chilling vision at the Tree of Knowledge, they are utterly defeated, cut down by the Destroyer's overwhelming power. This brutal, swift defeat isn't just a tactical setback, it powerfully emphasizes the inescapable grip of prophecy, and more importantly, the formidable, almost insurmountable strength of the Destroyer. It sets a very grim, foreboding stage for War's final, solitary confrontation, raising the stakes to an almost unbearable level.
It absolutely raises the stakes to their terrifying peak, injecting a profound sense of inevitability and dread into the final act. The vision of Uriel's defeat underscores the gravity of the situation and the immense corrupted power War is about to face, seemingly alone. The Destroyer is not just any demon lord, he is a former archangel, infused with the darkest power of hell, an embodiment of betrayal, and the steadfast protector of the very seventh seal that can either bring balance back to creation or condemn it to eternal chaos. War now carries the crushing weight of humanity's annihilation, the profound betrayal of his masters, and the looming, inescapable prophecy of his own death as he steps into this final, defining battle. The anticipation for this ultimate showdown is immense, as the player wonders how War can possibly overcome such overwhelming odds and seemingly his own prophetic demise. It's a battle against destiny itself.
So War, now armed with the reforged Armageddon blade and burdened by the weight of so many betrayals and prophecies, enters this desperate final battle. The Destroyer, his former comrade Abaddon, attempts to tempt him, to break his will, to offer him a place at his side in a new dark order. But War, his honor now absolute and his resolve forged in fire, refuses. After a fierce, brutal, and truly epic battle that pushes him to his absolute limits, he finally succeeds in killing the Destroyer, thrusting the Armageddon blade through his heart. It's a moment of profound triumph and vengeance, but the story is far, far from over.
Far from it. As War retrieves the seventh seal from the now dead Destroyer, a crucial, infuriating intervention occurs. The Watcher, that cynical, controlling council servant who has been bound to War, makes his move, revealing the depth of the council's manipulative strategy. The Watcher, observing War's unyielding determination and knowing that if War regains his full true strength by shattering the seal, he would undoubtedly turn against the corrupt Charred Council, becoming an unstoppable force of vengeance, attempts to stop him. He attacks, desperate to keep War under the Council's thumb to maintain their control. This is the final, desperate gambit of the manipulators.
And this is where the prophecy of War's death, glimpsed so chillingly in the Garden of Eden, is finally fulfilled, but with an incredible, utterly unexpected twist that shatters expectations and redeems prior actions.
Yes, and a truly shocking, brilliant moment of narrative subversion. Uriel, now fully aware of the full, devastating truth of Abaddon's fall and the Council's profound betrayal, intervenes once more. This time, in a decisive act of justice and compassion, she kills War with the Armageddon blade, precisely as foreseen in his vision.
Wow. She kills him.
She does. It's a moment of profound sacrifice, seemingly fulfilling the grim prophecy, yet simultaneously subverting its meaning. But here's the genius of it. The legendary sword's blow, as it kills War, also, crucially, shatters the seventh seal. This act paradoxically restores War to life, but more importantly, it finally frees him, completely and utterly, from the Council's insidious control and the Watcher's binding. This is the ultimate aha moment, the pinnacle of War's personal liberation, and the triumphant payoff for all the built-up tension and profound curiosity. He then, in a moment of pure, righteous, and long-deserved fury, crushes the Watcher's head. An act that is both brutal and incredibly satisfying, symbolizing his complete autonomy and the final severing of all manipulative ties. This single act redefines the entire narrative, raising the stakes for the future of the cosmos.
What an incredible, exhilarating turn of events. So War is finally free, unbound, and in full possession of his power. But Uriel, ever pragmatic and keenly aware of the cosmic landscape, warns him that he cannot possibly stand alone against the combined, now openly hostile forces of heaven, hell, and the now exposed, corrupt Charred Council. The odds seem utterly insurmountable, even for a horseman.
Her warning makes perfect, terrifying sense, given the sheer scale of the powers involved and the depth of the corruption War has uncovered. But War's defiant reply, delivered with this calm, unwavering conviction, is an iconic line that sets the stage for the entire franchise and promises a future of epic conflict. No, I'm not alone. As he speaks these powerful words, the other three horsemen, Death, his grim brother, Fury, his fiery sister, and Strife, his enigmatic sibling, are seen descending to Earth, their arrival heralded by a storm of fire, shadow, and shattering thunder.
The whole gang arrives.
The whole gang. This ending doesn't just conclude War's story. It redefines the very meaning of the end war. It's no longer just angels versus demons, but a cosmic battle for true justice and authentic balance against all corrupted powers, including the very authorities that were meant to uphold order and protect creation. The arrival of the other horsemen doesn't just open up the entire franchise. It promises even greater conflicts, a truly universal struggle for a new, righteous cosmic order. The stakes, once personal, are now truly infinite.
This transforms War's personal quest for vindication and liberation into a universal fight for justice, balance, and freedom on a scale we haven't even begun to imagine yet. What kind of justice will these newly liberated, united horsemen mete out? And what does it mean for the future of existence if the supposed arbiters of balance are the ones who ultimately have to be balanced themselves? It raises so many profound questions and creates immense curiosity for the continuation of this epic saga, not just as a game, but as a sweeping narrative about power, corruption, and the fight for true agency.
It certainly does. The ending of Darksiders is not an ending at all, but a powerful, explosive beginning. It transforms a story of accusation and manipulation into one of ultimate liberation and righteous retribution. The fight for balance is far from over, but now it's on War's terms, and with the full, terrifying, and united might of the Four Horsemen. The stakes are truly cosmic, and the path forward is one of unprecedented conflict, personal sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of a new, true order forged from the ashes of the old. It leaves you eagerly awaiting the next chapter, wondering just how much deeper the rabbit hole of cosmic corruption goes.
Now, beyond its incredible, twisting narrative, Darksiders is, at its heart, a video game. And its carefully crafted gameplay mechanics play a monumental role in reinforcing this epic journey of wars, from a weakened, accused prisoner to a fully liberated powerhouse. It's an action-adventure game, primarily a hack-and-slash experience played from a third-person perspective, with a world cleverly split into distinct, yet interconnected locations.
Yes, and the design of the world is quite intentional, contributing significantly to that feeling of progression and unlocking war's true potential. Many areas are initially inaccessible, clearly blocked by environmental hazards or requiring specific new abilities or tools that war must acquire later in the game. The Scalding Gallow, for example, acts as a central hub, a kind of mission control where war receives new objectives and where paths to unlock these new areas often converge. This intelligent kind of Metroidvania-esque structure effectively mirrors war's own personal progression. He starts severely limited, with many pathways and possibilities closed off to him, both literally and figuratively. But as he grows in power, as he gathers new equipment and abilities, new avenues and opportunities open up, allowing him to explore deeper into the ruined world. The player tangibly feels that sense of gradual empowerment, a true journey from vulnerability to immense capability, mirroring his narrative arc of regaining his identity.
And the arsenal War acquires reflects this perfectly, acting as a direct extension of his narrative journey. He starts with his signature, formidable two-handed sword, the Chaos Eater, which can absorb demonic energy. But he eventually obtains other incredibly powerful weapons, including a formidable razor-sharp scythe, perfect for wider arcing attacks. He also gains versatile projectile weapons, like a revolver called the Mercy, and this boomerang-style throwing blade known as the Crossblade, which can be charged and used for environmental puzzles. He can even intuitively rip objects from the environment, cars, lampposts, and wield them as improvised weapons. Later, he gains the ability to summon his legendary steed, Ruin.
Oh yeah, Ruin is awesome.
Which not only provides faster movement across the desolate landscape, but also significantly increases his attack power during mounted combat sequences.
All these additions aren't just new toys to the player, they tangibly demonstrate War regaining his lost strength and evolving as a fighter, becoming the horseman he was always meant to be. His early combat is more basic, a brute force approach, but as he progresses, he can unlock new, intricate combo attacks, encouraging a more diverse, fluid, and strategic approach to combat, involving parries, powerful counters, precise blocks, and swift dodges. Beyond these physical weapons, he gains an array of magic-based attacks, aptly named Wrath powers, which are both offensively devastating and defensively crucial, from summoning a shield to creating powerful shockwaves. And then there's this ultimate transformation, the Chaos form.
Right, the big fiery mode.
Yes, exactly. When his Chaos meter fills through combat, he transforms into this gargantuan, fiery, and extremely resistant entity. This is his true unleashed power, a temporary, glorious glimpse of the horseman he's meant to be, a pure expression of unbridled fury. This consistent progression from a limited, struggling fighter to a devastating force lets you, the player, truly feel War's journey from profound vulnerability to immense, unstoppable power, deeply connecting gameplay to narrative.
The game also features these truly epic, often multi-stage boss battles that are frequently more than just a brute force slugfest. They demand more than just mashing buttons, right?
That's right, and it's a design choice that really elevates the experience. The boss battles are frequently puzzle-based, requiring specific methods, environmental interaction, and often the strategic use of certain weapons or recently acquired tools to defeat them. This isn't just about overwhelming an enemy, it reflects the game's intellectual and strategic challenges, moving beyond mere combat and demanding the player think tactically and creatively, just as War has to strategically navigate the intricate conspiracy against him. It adds a layer of depth that prevents combat from becoming repetitive. And the game's soul system, green souls for health, yellow souls for wrath energy, and blue souls for currency, provides a consistent, tangible progression. Collecting these souls, finding hidden artifacts, and exchanging them for upgrades for combos, new powers, and increased health wrath capacity all contribute to that feeling of War steadily regaining his lost might and becoming the horseman he was always destined to be, independent of the Council's control. It's a tangible representation of his fight for autonomy.
So Darksiders sounds like it was a really well-rounded, ambitious package, blending combat, puzzles, and a compelling narrative. How was it received critically upon its release, and what kind of impact did it have on the broader gaming industry?
It received very positive reviews across the board, achieving Metacritic scores averaging around 82, 83 out of 100 across PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. It also performed remarkably well commercially, selling over 1 million units worldwide, which was a significant success for a new IP at the time. Critics were quick to praise its ambitious genre-blending appeal, often comparing its distinct style to beloved, established franchises. They pointed to Devil May Cry for its fluid, over-the-top hack-and-slash combat, God of War for its epic scale, brutal finishers, and grand mythological setting, and The Legend of Zelda for its ingenious puzzle-based dungeon design, interconnected world structure, and rewarding item progression. Beyond these comparisons, it was specifically lauded for its strong voice acting, engaging combat mechanics, and the fascinating post-apocalyptic world that Vigil Games had so meticulously created. It truly captured the imagination.
That's a strong endorsement, to be compared to such titans of the industry while still being recognized for its truly unique qualities. It raises an interesting point for a meaningful conversation. How can a game successfully combine elements from such diverse, beloved titles, drawing on their individual strengths and proven mechanics, while still forging its own unique identity and powerful narrative voice, especially with such a strong, twisted take on a classic mythos like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse? It's a testament to the game's design that it manages to feel both comfortingly familiar, yet entirely fresh and distinctive.
It speaks volumes to the craft and vision of Vigil Games, led by the distinctive art style of Joe Madureira, whose comic book background profoundly influenced the game's bold, exaggerated character designs and environments. They didn't just copy mechanics, they meticulously integrated and innovated, twisting familiar tropes into something new. By taking core gameplay elements and blending them with a truly original, dark, and complex narrative that bravely twisted familiar biblical lore, they created something that resonated deeply with players on multiple levels. The strong central mystery, the morally ambiguous characters, and the epic high-stakes scope allowed Darksiders to stand firmly on its own, proving that a unique, compelling story can profoundly elevate even well-trodden gameplay mechanics. It demonstrated to the industry how much demand there was for narrative depth and character-driven stories even within action-heavy titles, creating a fertile ground for what would clearly become a successful franchise.
And a franchise it was always intended to be. Creator Joe Madureira had grand visions, planning not just sequels but comic books and even a film adaptation, seeing the vast potential in this universe. But the path to a multi-game saga wasn't exactly smooth sailing, was it? In fact, it was quite tumultuous.
Far from it. The journey of the Darksiders franchise is a remarkable testament to perseverance and passion in the face of immense industry-shaking challenges. The original publisher, THQ, faced severe financial complications and tragically filed for bankruptcy in 2012, which cast a dark, uncertain shadow over the future of the entire series. Vigil Games, the incredibly talented original developer, was unfortunately shut down along with THQ, leaving the fate of Darksiders completely unknown. It was a bleak, disheartening moment for fans who had fallen in love with this unique universe and its compelling characters. The future seemed utterly lost.
But thankfully, through a twist of fate almost as dramatic as the game's own plot, the story didn't end there. There was a resurrection of sorts for the franchise, keeping the vision alive.
Yes, in a truly fortunate and inspiring turn of events, the Darksiders intellectual property was acquired by Nordic Games, which later famously rebranded to THQ Nordic, in the final transaction of THQ's assets in April 2013. This crucial acquisition saved the franchise from oblivion, breathing new life into a beloved world. What's even better, and a true testament to the original vision, is that the third installment, Darksiders 3-3, was developed by Gunfire Games, a studio largely consisting of former Vigil Games employees who were able to continue crafting the universe they helped create. The Darksiders universe has continued to expand beautifully, with Darksiders 2 even featuring War's brother Death as the protagonist, offering a faster, more agile gameplay experience, and Darksiders 3 focusing on Fury, War's sister, with its story actually set during War's 100-year imprisonment. This demonstrates an unwavering commitment to building on the initial premise and meticulously filling in the vast tapestry of the Four Horsemen's roles in the cosmic drama, deepening the lore and expanding the narrative in compelling ways.
The perseverance of these creators, their unwavering commitment, and the enduring dedication of the fans to keep this unique vision alive is truly inspiring. It demonstrates the incredible power of a compelling story to endure, even through devastating financial turmoil and studio closures. It's a real success story against the odds, driven by creative passion and a universe that simply refused to die.
It absolutely is, and it speaks volumes about the intrinsic quality and potential that both industry insiders and players saw in this unique dark take on the apocalypse. The world of Darksiders resonated so deeply because it dared to challenge assumptions about good and evil, created incredibly compelling, morally complex characters, and delivered a story that was both epic in its cosmic scale and deeply personal in its exploration of justice, betrayal, and redemption. It carved its own niche and ensured its legacy.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We started this deep dive with War, alone and unjustly accused, a pawn in a game he didn't even begin to understand, facing cosmic condemnation. And we ended with him free, unbound, fully empowered, having fulfilled a prophecy of his own death only to be resurrected, and finally seeing his siblings, the other Horsemen, descending to Earth to join him in a battle for true justice. Darksiders truly took us on an unforgettable journey through cosmic betrayal, insidious angelic conspiracies, and a profound deep dive into what balance truly means when the very arbiters of it are revealed to be profoundly corrupt. It wasn't just about hacking and slashing your way through hordes of demons and angels. It was about meticulously peeling back layers of deception, about questioning unquestionable authority, and ultimately about fighting for a justice that transcends the established tainted order. The entire narrative is a masterclass in building curiosity, escalating tension, and raising the stakes with every revelation.
So what does this all mean for us beyond the game? Darksiders masterfully uses its narrative to create that constant burning sense of curiosity about who's really behind this, building incredible tension with War's limitations, his desperate search for answers, and the constant threats to his life and freedom. It consistently raises the stakes from a singular, personal quest for vindication to one that fundamentally challenges the entire cosmic order of existence itself. It compels us to question authority, to understand the profound complexities and unsettling moral ambiguities of good and evil, and to truly appreciate the power of truth, even when that truth comes with an incredibly heavy, devastating price. The true apocalypse, it seems, is not just the end of the world as we know it, but the shattering of our most fundamental beliefs in those who are meant to protect it. It makes you realize that true heroism often means fighting against the very systems you once believed in.
As you reflect on War's journey, his profound betrayals, and the devastating revelations he uncovers, consider this. If the mediating forces, the very entities designed to maintain ultimate cosmic balance and uphold justice, are themselves corruptible and capable of such profound, devastating betrayal, what does that truly say about the fundamental nature of power itself? And where, in such a fractured, manipulated cosmos, should true justice ultimately reside? Perhaps the greatest balance isn't something imposed from above by an infallible, unquestionable council, but something that must be painfully, valiantly forged in the crucible of righteous rebellion against all odds.